Welcome to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome in to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Hayes, with Matt Baker.
That's me.
You can find us at avgffpod.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, just about anywhere else you can get a podcast. Go give us a like, follow, subscribe, help us get this thing going. I don't know what this beer is, but I know it didn't smell good.
It does not smell
It doesn't smell good at all. Tell us about the beer of the week.
Bibbo, Bibbo Pilsner.
B-I-B-O from Creature Comforts.
I got a variety pack. Figured we'd try. One of them had to be a hit like we hadn't had before, but you know, it says it's crisp and dry, classic. Doesn't really have a lot of information on here.
It doesn't smell good warm, or it's not warm. It's more. It's like slightly above room temperature.
It's like chill.
I think it would be better cold. It doesn't taste bad. You can taste a little bit of that smell though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it really isn't that bad. It's definitely.
There's no lingering effect of it. It's 4.9%. That's not bad for a Pilsner.
It's not terrible. It's not. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
made in Athens. Again,
local brewery, definitely, and it's
I still think cold. That one's. I don't have to drink all my beer cold, but that one
this one would definitely need to be cold. Yeah, I tried.
It's like Yingling. I can drink Yingling not cold, but it's way better cold.
The flavor, the taste is so much better cold. Yeah, crazy enough. This would definitely be a lot better cold. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of news. We're going to be talking about buy, sell, and hold on some Dynasty players, but before we get into that, we got some news to get to. That's just the intensity that you need when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man,
future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers to play one more year and says he's going to retire after 2026.
Yep.
I wish I had a button that says, I wish we had your thing where it's like, oh my God, who cares?
Yeah, right. Which we should. We fixed that thing, but we just never brought it back.
We never brought it back in here. We got to get that back. Yeah. So he's back. I mean, we all knew he was coming back. The Steelers knew he was coming back. And so he had to do his Aaron Rodgers, hey, everybody, look at me thing for a minute, and then I went and hung out with his real or fake girlfriend wife thing. I don't know. Nobody knows. So there's speculation he's married to AI. I don't know.
Allegedly.
So
I don't take anything that comes from that information. It's so hard to keep up with.
I don't know. When Aaron Rodgers retires and he is completely just out there, I'm slightly concerned about how far off the reservation he's gonna get, but he's got one more year playing football. He has showed up to OTAs. He's out there doing his thing. It is the best case scenario for the Steelers if they want to try to finish at 9-8 and get knocked out of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and lose that first round. Exactly.
It is not the best case scenario for the Steelers if they want to finally start moving in the direction they should have moved in years ago, and that's a rebuild of the team. But Mike McCarthy has coached Aaron Rodgers way back in the Green Bay days, back when he won his Super Bowl, and he was at his best. It's a system he's very familiar with, so at least he's going to be playing in that. And I think it's good for fantasy for one of the receivers, Pittman or DK. We don't know which one. Probably Pittman, because last year kind of seemed like Rodgers didn't like DK. So
yeah, I mean, they might play Pittman a little bit of what Gainwell was doing there too. That short yardage stuff. A little bit too. I mean, I was super shocked that not Gainwell. Was it Gainwell?
Well, Gainwell led the team in receptions last year, the running back, and he did a lot of short yardage stuff, but They didn't really have a true possession receiver, what you're talking about, move the sticks type guy that Pittman is. DK is more of a down the field kind of dominator type receiver. And, if I felt like they were going to throw the ball, if I felt like Rodgers was going to pass for 4,500 yards, I would be excited for both receivers.
Yeah.
Because I think Pittman will open up for routes for DK, because last year there was no other threat besides Darnell Washington. Out of the tight
and Jonnu Smith and Pat Fryermuth and it was like all of them, but he didn't throw to any of them. So that's why I was saying about the Gainwell thing. Now he's gone because
So I think they brought in Dowdle. So Jalen Warren is going to probably assume more of that pass catching role. So you can expect probably I don't think Jalen Warren is going to do what Gainwell did and lead the team in receptions, but I think he can have 50 or 60 catches this year.
Yeah,
and that's great for a running back. And so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of production we get out of this team. I won't be surprised if they become a middle of the road offense. I am concerned about touchdowns ultimately, but I think they can get enough yardage. They have a good defense, so that's going to limit some of their production as well, because they're not going to need to put up tons of points.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like I said, I don't expect them to do more than 10 games max, win more than 10 max, and that's it. I don't see any emergence. If you go look at the efficiency metrics from last year and what Aaron Rodgers did, it was terrible. They did not get. That's why Gainwell led the league or the team in receptions. They didn't take shots downfield. There wasn't a lot of big explosive plays. It was just dink and dunk and kind of whatever, scoring 17 to 21 points a game type stuff. So we'll see. But he gets I think it's around 25 million come back for his swan song. So
that's some money.
Yeah. Speaking of money, Matthew Stafford signed a 1-year extension to be under contract through 2027. So he added 1 year, $55 million to the back end of his contract. I think that was to appease him of them going out and drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, moving up to draft a quarterback. Yeah.
Well, they didn't move up, they had that pick from a deal they'd done with the Falcons.
Oh, I thought that they had the 2 picks back and they moved up 2 picks to grab Ty.
No, they had the Falcons pick going into the draft, but it was from a deal. I can't remember what deal it was, but there was a deal where they had got before the season started. They had, I think it may have been last year. The Falcons may have done something last year in the draft. I can't remember how they got the Falcons pick, but that's what it was, from my recollection. But either way, it was a pick that wasn't theirs that they did acquire that they spent on Ty Simpson.
Yeah, spent on a quarterback.
Right. And so this deal was like, hey, we're going to give you this because it's probably going to be a voided year anyway, but at least you're going to make $55 million. So,
yeah, exactly.
Or whatever the guaranteed was for it. So, speaking of guarantees, one thing that seems to be a guarantee is that Ray Rice is going to always find himself in trouble.
Rashee Rice. They might be related.
What did I say?
Ray Rice and Rashee Rice.
Holy shit.
I feel
my
like
brain went for the callback of the century. Thank you.
This is us saving us from being canceled.
No, I mean, look,
it depends on how we're going with this.
I mean, Rasheed's been accused of stuff like that. Allegedly. But those charges did get dropped and thrown out. But he was on probation, and he got caught smoking, he got caught with THC in his blood or whatever in his system,
probably on his breath and clothes.
But because now this doesn't have anything to do with the NFL, but because that substance is illegal in the state of Texas, he therefore has violated probation.
Correct.
And now has to go to jail for 30 days. And so he's going to have to go to jail for 30 days. On top of that, he had surgery to go in and do cleanup on his knee that was just like, what? They say he's going to be fine. But now we got to figure out what the NFL is going to do to punish him for violating the substance policy and illegal substance policy, and the fact that he seems to be a habitual offender now, and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes down the pipe from that, as far as what his suspension was. It's going to be 4 games, 6 games, whatever, and all that. So
yeah, it would definitely be interesting. I don't know, so the way the world is nowadays with marijuana, yes, it is a violation of his probation. He did go against, what he tested positive, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Josh Gordon played for 4 years intermittently smoking weed and failing tests all day long. And just like depending on what state he
missed,
for.
but Josh Gordon missed 2 entire seasons.
Oh yeah, no, I know. And a lot of that was rehab, not legal,
No, it's suspended from the league.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying there was a lot of, that was 10 years ago when it was a lot more frowned upon as well.
Right. No, I see what you're saying.
It's like, I don't know that, even right now you go look for the story and everything, it's not nearly as high as a lot of these other stories NFL wise. So
no, that's why I think it'll be 4 games. It's probably
kind of going to
be
a short suspension or blowover, and kind of be, who knows, it might not even be this year.
Yeah.
We may,
that's true. It may be something that gets pushed next year, but I think a lot of times when stuff gets pushed, it's because there's they want the legal stuff to get sorted out before
investigations.
And this one, there's the legal shit's already been sorted.
It's done. And dry.
So it could be one of those where the NFL is going to be like, all right, we know you did it. They know you did it. Here's 4 games. And all that. But it's just one of those. If you have him in Dynasty from a fantasy standpoint, it's just a frustrating thing. Of what do you feel like you can depend on? Seems like every couple months he's back in the news cycle for something bad.
Yeah, and it's like we have yet to get a true full season out of him, right? I mean, his rookie season was decent, but it was his rookie year, and they didn't utilize him a ton, and then he did get hurt. He tore his ACL at the end of the season. I don't know if it's the end of that season or the next season. It all runs together
got hurt
at this point.
And then he got in trouble and was suspended, and he got in trouble again for
speeding, and then he missed 6, and he came in after 6 games and lit the world on fire like he never missed a game, so that's what makes it hard with players like this to let go of, because people,
you know what they're capable of, which is why people's you talk about Josh Gordon, man. You think about back in those dynasty days, people were clinging to Josh Gordon, because they saw what he could do on the field and what he did. You're just like, man, if this guy could ever get things straight, he's going to dominate. And the same thing with Rice, but it's like you just don't know where their head's at all the time. Because it's like I feel like there has to be people in that building that are trying to talk to him. It's like, dude, like you got the world by the balls right now. Why do you continue to try to fuck it up?
Look, you're a kid,
and it's like, look, I was a dumb kid. I don't want to cast judgment upon Rashee Rice. I don't know where he came from. I don't know his life. I don't want to sit here and cast aspersions about what I think he is or what he should be able to do. It's just frustrating from a personal standpoint when you look at somebody and you go, man, you just got everything laid out in front of you, and yet you keep choosing the wrong things. And it's not him. There's tons of players that have done it throughout history.
Throughout history, yeah, exactly.
And but then, from a selfish standpoint in fantasy, if you have this guy on your dynasty teams, you're like, what do I do with him? Which we'll talk about here in a minute when we start breaking into the next segment. But before we get to that, one last thing we're going to bring up is apparently there is a quarterback competition in Atlanta between Penix and Tua.
Yeah, I mean, lefty via lefty. They're versus lefty, right? They're trying. I don't know. It's still, even if it is a competition, it's just because it's there. I'm not super sold on either one of these guys here, but it does make it controversial for fantasy purposes on who you want to try to trust when come draft time, for a redraft or even if you got a dynasty, like which route you're going to go. I would hope that you can go spend some pennies and try to grab Tua if you have Penix and you're trying to ride with that. But at that point, I don't think you're winning any championships if you got either one of these guys as your starting quarterback.
Right.
But
yeah, I agree. I mean, it really only matters in Superflex. Obviously, in any single QB, you don't give a flying fuck because these aren't either one of them that you're going to be concerned with unless you're desperate as fuck.
Exactly.
I don't think either one of them are going to make huge consequences when it comes to your fantasy league again, unless it's a Superflex, and then you're hoping that they're your third, whoever it is.
You got somebody.
Penix is obviously more valuable because he's younger, and if he becomes the starter and can hold the job, then you get him for a longer period of time. And
you always got that injury lingering over him too. Now, I mean, it's college.
Yeah, I mean, college. Now, he was injured, and now I think he's been both knees.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still a question mark in my opinion, with Penix. So
Yeah.
if you don't have Tua and you have Penix, and you in any kind of fashion that you have to run one or the other, you need to have both. I think personally.
Yeah, and I think Tua's going to win. I think he's the better quarterback when it comes right down to it. I can't imagine. Kink got beat out by Penix, but I don't know that Kink legitimately got beat out as much as they were trying to justify the pick, and they were like, we're going to put Penix out there. And Kink was also coming back from an Achilles.
Yeah, he was coming back from the Achilles tear.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's older. It's going to take more time, so it's not like he's going to be able to take half a season off and be right back on the field at 100%. So I could see where he won that battle. You know?
I do believe if Tua shows up and plays his game, he can beat out Penix, but I don't think that's saying a ton anyway.
I mean, and the same concept, still speaking about Kink, I mean, he's competing for a job right now too.
Yeah.
With Mendoza. I know they drafted him, and the idea was start with Kink this year, but I heard Mendoza's kind of showing out. So
yeah. I mean, it's early, it's OTAs, but
still,
there's a lot of camp hype coming out, so it's nice. It's better than hearing Mendoza's blowing ass.
Exactly. But it does kind of suck for any Kink believers out there that are like, he's going to get another shot, and then they're going to replace him with another rookie.
I think
becomes that like the Tyrod Taylor thing where any rookie that comes in behind him then becomes the starter.
How many kids does Kink Cousins have? Do you know? 2, 3?
I think more than Aaron Rodgers, but less than Phillip Rivers.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is I'm trying to. You said if there's any Kink Cousins believers out there. I'm trying to. You have Kink, who's a believer in himself, and his wife, and then however many kids he has. That's it.
Well, maybe they may be Brady fans. Who knows?
I'm just trying to figure who are the Cousins believers that you were talking about. It can't be many at this point.
That's true.
You like that? You like that?
He's got 2 kids.
So there's four.
He's got 2
There's
sons.
4 Kink believers out there.
Cooper and Turner Cousins. Yeah.
Oh, that's mayonnaise white.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Well, he's got 3 kids technically.
Yeah,
Fernando Mendoza,
right there. Yeah, there's.
They look exactly alike. It would not surprise me if he was Kink's son.
Allegedly.
We need to backtrack and see, the timeline. We just see where everybody was at a certain point back
put pen to paper and figure out exactly what's going on.
Roughly 22 years and a few months ago. But maybe but we don't need to blow up anybody's spot. So
no, there's a shot that maybe we need to look into Kink Cousins' dad. Maybe Mendoza's Kink Cousins' brother.
Whoa, hold up.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we got to cover our ass with that one.
I mean, I don't know how how this world works.
Grandpa Cousins out here, he's the Kink originator apparently.
That's what it is.
All right, on that note, we're going to move on to buy, sell, or hold. Almost said trade.
Love this music.
It's the baseline for me. All right, so we're going to go through some names. Like I said, it's buy, sell, or hold. And obviously the buy is people you want to go try to trade for. The sell are people you want to give away. And hold, for me, is if somebody shows up and offers you the moon for that player, obviously I just sell them. I say sell anybody if you're getting offered the moon. Just because if you're going to be able to capitalize on value, it's always the best approach. Their value is only going to be as high as it's ever going to be, and if you can get it at the peak, get it at the peak, and then
definitely.
Move on. But the other side of hold is that because of things that are going on with those players, their value isn't going to garner you much in a trade that you should get for them if they were doing what they should be able to do. And so if you hold them, wait for them to do something awesome, and then you move them if you still want to move them. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did I explain that okay?
You want to always try to get best value out of a player. You don't want to just let someone go to let them go.
Right.
And sometimes you got to hold someone until they prove their worth that you see in them before you let them go.
Right.
Like their value. So yeah, I get it. I got the hold.
Yeah. So I'll kick it off with my first sell. My first sell right now is Justin Jefferson. You think about what Justin Jefferson has been in this league. I still think that he is possibly the top receiver in the league. Maybe Chase is the top receiver. Jefferson may be the second top receiver in the league, but he's currently just almost 27 years old. He's going to turn 27 during this season, which isn't terrible for a wide receiver, but there's a lot of questions about whose quarterback's going to be. Kyler Murray's got a 1-year deal there. J.J. McCarthy's also there. Supposedly they're going to compete. And maybe he shows back up this season. I still think there's value with Justin Jefferson. If you can find the right manager who's desperate for a wide receiver, you can get peak value for Jefferson. Especially, I think Kyler helps that. If it was J.J. McCarthy that was going to be the starter this year, I would say he's more of a hold. But for me right now, he is a sell. But I'm not telling you to sell this guy for pennies on the dollar. You're selling him for a package that is worth what he is as a 27-year-old top-end receiver moving into, what should be based off of the average of years. This is kind of where your wide receiver should peak around the age 27, 28. And so, I think if you can move on from him and get you a package, especially if you're in sort of a rebuild, because, a lot of times if you have these top end players, you're not necessarily in rebuilds, but the way Jefferson's been the last couple seasons, you could be very well with a team that's in a rebuild. This has Jefferson. He's been down 2 years straight, and a lot of that's been based off of quarterback play and a little bit of injury. But, I do think he's going to have a good season. I do think he could potentially come back into being a top 5 wide receiver this year. But this could be your chance to move on. If you want to hold him and see if he does work out with Kyler. But the hard part about holding with Jefferson right now is if Kyler blows or if J.J. McCarthy does somehow beat him out in camp, or if Kyler gets hurt, then you're not going to be able to move him, and with JJ being the quarterback. So, what are your thoughts on Justin Jefferson?
This is crazy because this is going to be my first buy. I feel personally that this is the lowest peak that you're going to get Jefferson at as far as going out to try to get him. I mean, he's going off at what, ADP 16 or whatever he had.
Yeah. So I should have brought up before we started. We currently have it pulled up for Superflex. These are all sleeper ADPs. And right now he's going off Dynasty startups. I should also reiterate that he's going off at 16 overall, which is what, wide receiver, see, 1, 2, 3, wide receiver 5.
Yeah. Well, 6 behind Malik right there.
So. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think personally this is the way I look at Jefferson. Yes, terrible quarterback play. His only other bad year was on an injury year when he got injured and he missed 7 weeks of the season. So this is, everybody's upset and got their feelings hurt about this top 5 wide receiver not producing for him. And he's 28 years old. We'll call it 28 now. And I think he's
20. We'll call it 27 now. He's 26.9.
26. Okay, so call it 27. I thought
that's my bad.
But so we're looking at a 27-year-old receiver that still has a potential 6 years of top 10 viability, coming off of a season where he finished 21.
I would say, so generally, I mean, based off of statistics, receivers generally start falling off their 30, 31 years.
30, 31.
So you're looking at 3 to 4 more years.
Yeah. So, but I mean, even still, like, I think right now is the cheapest you're going to be able to get him if you're going to go buy him.
From this point moving forward.
From right now.
Okay, because you could have got him cheaper last year.
In the middle of the year. If you're playing in the middle of the year. But I'm saying, like, if we're looking at
but we can't go back in time.
Exactly.
Okay,
we're looking at today's stats. We're looking at today's
numbers. Not yet,
anyway.
Oh,
yeah. We're working on it. But I feel like this is going to be the cheapest you'd be able to get him and still have a potential top 5 wide receiver for multiple years.
Okay.
Binding injury, or pending injury, if anything, where that were to come up. But I'm looking at, he finished 21 last year, shitty quarterback play. There was, even with an increase in quarterback play, if he doesn't get an increase in quarterback play, I still think he moves up.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not going to tank and stay down, I don't feel. And everybody,
I'm going to send you some offers after the podcast.
Bring it. I'm out to buy Justin Jefferson everywhere. I think, especially if you got a team that's like either on a cusp or like you competed the last 2 years but just haven't got that edge. Yeah. I think you could potentially grab Jefferson and push you over that edge. I mean,
I have a team that I need to get over the edge, and I'm going to try to send you Justin Jefferson because I need.
I really do think it's going to be a good for him.
I want to say I like Justin Jefferson. Now, he is one of my favorite receivers. I like the way he plays the game. I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he goes about his business. So this isn't like I'm not somebody who's personally down. I have done deals where I've been moving him recently, but is strictly based off of what my quote fantasy evaluation is of him moving forward, and less about him. I try to separate how much I like him as a player, and if he proves me wrong, I'm gonna be like, fucking way to go, and then I'll be like, I need to go try to go get Justin Jefferson. I need kind of like what I did the same thing with McCaffrey. I kept getting rid of McCaffrey
and then having to go back and get him.
And have to go back and get him. So,
I look at it as 6 years in the league. He's been top 4 of the 6 years, and he was on pace to be that the year he got injured in 23. I mean, 2 years ago he was number 2 wide receiver. Last year he was 21. It was absolute hot garbage. He only got 84 receptions. This is what's crazy to me. He had the same amount of targets last year, or similar, 141 and 154 between last year and the year before.
Oh yeah,
and he finished with 500 less yards and 8 less touchdowns.
Yeah, so I mean, the touchdowns is the big thing.
That's the quarterback.
So that's the problem. So, you got to. It's a huge point. Like with the touchdowns that's 8 touchdowns, so that's 42 points.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, 64.
Sorry.
Wait, 6-point touchdowns.
Yeah, times 8, 42. Okay,
I did 8 times 8 for some weird reason. I was like, that's not right.
I was like, wait a minute, 64. I was like, wait a minute, what league are you in, bro?
Yeah, you're right, 42.
So, that's 42 more fantasy points, which doesn't seem like a ton, but that's like 2.5 really good games in touchdowns. So,
so trust me. I mean, I understand. I see, but I don't think this is a regression. I just think it was absolute. I mean, they went through 3 different quarterbacks last year. The Minnesota Vikings, as a total, sucked balls. Aaron Jones couldn't stay healthy. Jordan Mason looked like garbage. I mean, it was collectively it was, and I think if they can come back in 20% better than what they did last year, just 20%, not even a lot, just 20%. Jefferson's numbers are going to vastly affect it.
Yeah, and that's why for me it's a sell.
Yeah,
so and that's why for you it's a buy.
Exactly, that's the exact same situation. I mean, it's opposite sides of it. Plus, I don't have Jefferson anywhere, so I'm trying to buy him.
Okay,
and you've got him places, so you're trying to sell him.
Yeah,
so,
that's a fair point.
Yeah, so,
it could just be a little bit of fatigue for 2 years of where you're just like,
yeah.
But all right, well, I'll move on to a buy unless you got a player you want to throw out.
No, what you got? Who
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah,
for me is a buy. Again, you're talking about a guy who 2 years ago, his rookie year, he finished as a top 4 wide receiver, and then he just was straight doo-doo Browntown and injured last year. He's still 23 years old. He'll be turning 24 this year. I think the way that offense was last year, with Cohen coming in and Trevor Lawrence stepping up, I think they're only going to step up more. Now, you do have Parker Washington, who emerged last year. You did get the trade with Jacoby Myers coming in, and you also have Travis Hunter, who's trying to emerge as a receiver and a corner. But I don't think Brian Thomas has forgot how to play football. I don't know why he was sucked last year, but I think that right now you can get him, and he is, the potential of what he can do based off of what you're going to pay to get him right now, I think is worth the risk. Yes. Now, I'm not saying going and trading 3 firsts to get him. If you can, I think in some leagues, you might be able to get him for a 2027 second, personally. And I would give a 2027 second for Brian Thomas Jr. in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if you can get him in a deal with someone, like if you can trade Justin Jefferson to whoever has BTJ and get BTJ plus a couple firsts, that's a deal I'm willing to do every day.
Yeah. No, that's I see that.
And that's what I'm talking about when I say sell. That's the kind of deals I'm looking for when I'm talking about. And maybe you can't get 2 firsts. If I can get a first, a second, and BTJ for Justin Jefferson, then I'm still willing to make that deal. And so that's just where I'm at. He could flop this year, and if he does, then he's toast. And then you're like, crap, I gave up Jefferson. But at least you got a couple of other picks, that you can potentially replace that with. That hopefully will pay off. You didn't just do a straight up deal. Yeah. If you'd have tried to do this deal, Brian Thomas Jr.'s rookie year, you'd have had to pay Justin Jefferson either straight up for BTJ, or maybe because of the age difference, maybe you'd had to add something on the Jefferson side.
Yeah,
because of where Jefferson was, and then whatever. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Brian Thomas Jr. as a buy?
No, I love this. This is 100% a buy. I feel like a lot of people are down on him. Another one that's like touchdown regressed. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns last year as opposed to 10 the year before, but his yard per catch was the same. Yard per target was nearly the same. He had a lot less targets. Don't get me wrong, 40 less targets than the year previous.
Yeah,
but that's part of figuring everything out with Travis Hunter coming in, taking some of the targets. When Brenton Strange was healthy, 2 years ago, he started taking some of it towards the end of the year. Now, when he comes back, that's kind of a little bit of a target stealing too. But I don't know. I think everybody's like, oh, he's toast. And it's only been 2 years in the league. Like, there's no way he just forgot what he did year one.
Right.
And even if he comes back at half of what he did,
yeah,
he's still worth way
more
than what he's going
wide
now.
receiver 15.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's worth way more than what you're spending for him. You can buy him right now at what I feel is a low, and you can buy him up, grab him everywhere you can. I mean, like you said, I've seen in some leagues where people are giving him away for late seconds for next year. Like the 2.8, 2.9. I'm like, why would you do? Like, I would much rather take somebody who's already been a top 4 and hold him for a year before I gave him up for a late, I'd still be hesitant on an early second.
Well, think about this year in this draft. If you haven't done your drafts yet, and you've got like the 109, the 110, the 111, I would burn all of that. Either probably everything after the 107, I would trade for BTJ
and make them feel like they're getting a first round pick out of it.
Yes,
it's realistically, it's
no.
you're not giving anything up.
No, and you're just dealing with you're getting rid of the frustration because if you put Brian Thomas Jr. in this year's draft, he's getting picked at probably after the right before Concepcion. Yep. Where's Concepcion going? The 107 right now? 108, somewhere around there, depending on if you're in a super flex or not. So, that's even based off what you know about Brian Thomas Jr., I would still draft him around that. So, yeah, if I can get him for that this year or a second next year, or if I'm in a team that's going to win and I know I'm going to probably be at the 110 or greater next year, I might do a first next year.
Yeah,
because everybody's like, oh, the 27 class is going to be amazing, and hopefully it is. So that 27 first looks great right now when nobody knows what pick it is.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know where the players end up as far as their teams are concerned and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But right now, if you look at where he's going off ADP, he's what? Where I just fucked it all up. Oh, there he is. 62. He's going off 62 overall. Wide receiver. When I click on this, it tells me. Yeah, he's going off at I don't want to learn more.
Yeah, that's what he finished out at.
I don't want to learn. Why did this happen? Okay, maybe because it's only going to let me click so many times before it wants me to go to a paywall. Yeah, so he's somewhere around wide receiver 40, somewhere around that. Let's see if I hit the back button, if it gets me from having to go to the paywall. All right, there we go. So yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. is my number one. Well, I don't have these in any particular order, but he is on the buy list. So since we did a sell and a buy, let's do a hold real quick, and we can stay with the wide receivers. Rashee Rice is a hold for me. Okay. I have seen some deals. A guy traded Rashee Rice away in a league I was in, and God, I should have looked it up.
I think it was Bayshawn Tootin in a second.
Yeah,
if it's the same league.
Yeah. It was Bayshawn Tootin in a first, I thought.
Was it a first?
Maybe, but
still, they did trade away.
They traded
Rashee Rice.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like I get the frustration. Trust me, I understand. When you're dealing with players that are constantly in trouble, but based off of what he's capable of doing, he's a hold for me, unless somebody's showing up with 2 firsts. If I'm not getting the value of two first round picks, then I'm not dealing him.
Yeah.
Because if he does get suspended and he comes back after his suspension next year and he puts up 2 games where he's a top 5 wide receiver.
It was Jalen Waddle in the third.
Yeah, that I would do.
Jalen Waddle in the third is what they did.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I would want more than if I could get Jalen Waddle on a 27th second, I might do that deal. Because to me, that's Jalen Waddle is worth a first and a half, and then you get the second, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then so I don't know that. But if he comes back off of his suspension, or like Matt said earlier, maybe they push the suspension out a year for whatever reason. He keeps appealing it or whatever, and you get a whole season out of him somehow this year, and he starts the season on fire.
Well, you get a couple of suspend him. There's a chance they could investigate it and be like, oh, well, he just turned out he was around someone smoking weed and it was in his system. And we're not going to penalize him for being around weed.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked about how weed's not as harshly looked upon as it used to because there's so many states that allow it anyway. But
it's like in Texas, it's illegal, but he's playing in Kansas City and it's legal there. Yeah. So why are we going to penalize him? I have no idea.
Missouri?
It's so close to Colorado. I just assume all the states around them got contact highs. They have to allow them to be legal. But
however, I think when he shows up, he's going to be awesome, and that's when you move him.
Yeah,
that's when you deal him. That's when you get out from under the albatross of worrying about when he's going to get in trouble again the next time, and you find somebody who's desperate at wide receiver. You get as much from him as you can, and you boot him out the fucking door. Yeah. But if you do it now, most likely you're going to have to take a loss on the deal.
Yeah. You're leaving something on the table, definitely.
And it's, to me, it's based off of his history of what he does on the field. It's worth keeping him and seeing if you can capitalize based off of the value you might lose if he doesn't ever show up and play good again. Because then you're just like, oh, well, yeah, it's fine.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Do you agree with Rice as a whole?
100%. And for a very similar reason, I've got my next hold.
Okay.
A.J. Brown. Trade talks or not, it doesn't matter where he ends up going this next year.
Well,
some team.
The next one under my list.
Oh, it was AJ Brown.
yeah.
I'm just this is a guy who has been
AJ Brown is a hold as well. Both of us agree.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, there's no reason to get upset about where he might end up. There's no reason to work. I mean, yes, the speculation is the Patriots, and I wouldn't be superbly happy about him going to the Patriots, but they're going to give up enough to bring him in that they're going to make him viable.
Well,
he's going to have to be a centerpiece of an offense wherever he ends up going in order for the Eagles to give him up and let him go.
Well, you have 10 days.
Yeah.
Right now you have 10 days because the rumor is June 1st is when the trade's going to happen.
That's when it's supposed to.
That's when you're trading.
Yep.
Once he's traded to the Patriots and it becomes official, if you want to move on from him, you find the guy who's got Drake May and you sell him for a package that you could get,
or the guy that's like finished second last year in the league, and he had a bad receiver. He needs that guy.
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, you can go grab Rasheed Rice. You can go grab BTJ. There's people that will probably give up BTJ straight up for AJ
He's got
Brown,
Rasheed Rice as his top receiver. He's sweating.
He's missing
and if
weeks.
He's got BTJ. He's hating receiver life. You could definitely get BTJ and Rice, get them both from him and a first,
and give up AJ Brown, who's probably going to be obsolete in 2 years. You know, like I think right now is way too early to be looking to trade him. And even we get the news he goes to the Patriots, he goes wherever he may go.
Yeah.
You know how the news works. It's like, oh, he's going to the Patriots. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, the Atlanta Falcons just gave up 3 firsts to get AJ Brown,
I'm
or
sure
something
people,
stupid like that.
Once the quote deal was announced, I'm sure other teams have been trying to slip in and also get part of that deal, figure out how to do it.
Trying to work something out.
So who knows what's going to happen. I still think he's going to go to the Patriots. But again, you have to wait for whatever's going to happen because his value right now is in limbo. And unless the Drake May owner shows up and goes, he's convinced and he wants to give you a song.
He's buying it
or not
right
a song,
now.
but he wants to give you, the moon.
Yeah, he wants to buy. He comes up.
Yeah, before the news, he thinks he can buy it at a premium.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, I'll do that," and you just keep adding a little bit on until you convince him that he's buying at a premium when he's buying at peak
and giving it gone. Yep.
Yeah. So AJ Brown was the second guy on the list that I had. So
my bad. I mean, still.
No. This was our list that I made.
I'm just looking over the people trying to make sure we don't miss anybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go back to the sell, and this one's going to be controversial, I know. And this has more to do with the team that he's on and what I think they're going to do offensively, and less to do with the player. And that is Colston Loveland. I think Colston Loveland's value is sky high right now. I think that there's, based off of what he did last year as a rookie, based off of the fact that what people feel about that offense and stuff like that. Now, there's no secret that I don't particularly think Caleb Williams is a great NFL quarterback. I think he has great qualities. I think he's a great athlete, and I think he has the tools to become a great quarterback. I just don't know if he has the whatever it takes to be that quarterback. He has moments that are unbelievable, and then he has just the most boneheaded shit you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, but there's so many mouths to feed currently in Chicago. You've got Rome Odunze, you've got Luther Burden, you have Colston Loveland, you also have the running backs, and obviously there's other players on that team. They're going to get targets as well. And no one's thrown ever in the history of the Bears for over 4,000 yards. If you want to have multiple fantasy viable players, then you've got to be able to throw for 4,000, 4,500 yards. And right now, that's just not something I think they're going to be able to do on a consistent basis. Now, if you believe Colston Loveland is going to be the number one receiver in that offense, then by all means, hold on to him. I don't think that's the case. I think that Odunze or Burden are going to emerge as the alpha dominant receivers of that offense, and they're going to command targets. And I think the other one is going to be a 1B. Think Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Now, I don't think either one of them are going to be Jamar Chase, but I think one of them is going to be really, really good, and one of them is going to be pretty fucking good. And those targets are going to be dispersed to them vastly, and Loveland will get his. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think, based off of what people are feeling right now, where he's going currently, he's going 29th overall in Dynasty startups, which, doesn't seem like a lot, but he's going off at tight end 3. And so it just, for me, I don't know that is sustainable for him throughout a season. So I just think you can get peak value for Loveland right now. What is your opinion on that?
I feel similar. I'm in a like a yin yang situation with Loveland. I feel like if you have Loveland, the tight end world is so opposite of vast that you don't want to let go of a good thing. And I think Loveland as a tight end is a good thing. As a potential high end fantasy asset, it changes, if that makes sense. Like right now, your value for him, I think that people would be willing to spend more to get him than I think he's worth.
Yes.
But I think if you're not getting that deal, I don't think you should run out and deal him.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
No.
Does that makes sense? Like it's like a sell hold kind of situation.
If you look, first of all, I want to say on all the sell candidates, if you're not getting, these aren't sell to get out from under this person. These are sell to get peak value.
Peak value. Like
yes.
I think like he kind of falls at that like everywhere I've got him, I'm kind of holding because yes, he had a good season, but in the tight end landscape, it's hard to find someone that's consistently that good, so it's not one of those that you want to get rid of him now because the best you're going to get, I don't know that it's going to replace that, that potential where but you're not going to buy him because anybody who has him wants more than I feel he's worth, if that makes sense. So if you can sell him,
that's what I'm saying. If I had Loveland, and I don't have him anywhere, but if I had him, he would be. I wouldn't put him on the trade block because when you put people on the trade block,
they try to lowball you and try to.
Yeah, they're like, this guy wants to get rid of. I mean,
Yeah.
I do put players on the trade block that I just want people to know are out there, but they're not players that I'm trying to get peak value out of. They're people I'm just trying to get the fuck off my team.
Yeah.
If I was trying to move Loveland, I would be kind of shopping around to people who are tight end needy in your dynasty leagues and seeing if you can encourage them to ask you about Loveland.
Yeah.
You want them, and that's the best way to negotiate anything is for them to come to you. And it's a hard thing to do, but if you can just start trying to, go to their teams and say, hey, I'd like to get this guy. What do you think it's going to take? And then they come at you and they're like, well, are you willing to deal Loveland? And you're like, whew. I don't know. What do you think? It's going to take a lot, and then see what they come back with.
Yeah, see what they're looking at.
So you got to kind of manipulate the situations. But I just feel like think Odunze is a very good wide receiver. I'm very high on Odunze. And we'll talk about him right after we talk about Loveland. And I really like Burden. I think Luther Burden has the potential to explode. And if you have these two top end receivers, I just think Loveland's somebody who's going to get pushed to the side.
He's going to fade out. Yeah. No,
and I think he'll be viable, but it'll be viable where he's tight end 6, 7, 8. And that's not super great.
Well, I mean,
and I did not intend to rhyme, but I do it all the time.
Well, the thing about him too, though, I mean, he only finished as like tight end 12 or 13 in a regular. It wasn't.
Yeah, but it was everybody's hype based off of how we finished the year.
It was the last 5 weeks or 6 weeks.
Odunze wasn't there.
Exactly.
Burden has not emerged.
Exactly.
And
DJ Moore was still there.
Was hot garbage can.
It wasn't doing much. So there was a lot of back and forth question marks.
Yeah.
Like I like Colston Loveland, but where his value is, where everybody's looking at him at.
Yeah.
The people who have him are looking at him as like an ace.
Yes.
And the people who are trying to get him are only trying to spend a queen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
so what you got to do is find somebody who doesn't have him who thinks he's an ace.
Exactly. and that's what you sell him for.
Yes.
I just don't want anybody to go out and try to like, oh, well, this guy's offering me, blah, 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 K-Dot and a second to get Colston Loveland.
That's garbage can.
But I'm saying,
I get what you're saying.
There's a lot, there's potential value there, even if, because all it takes is Odunze to mess his heel up again, and all of a sudden Colston Loveland's tight end one,
in a non-tight end premium, if you're not coming at me with a 1.5 value, don't even
talk to me. Yeah.
That's where we got to start.
Yep.
And then from there, in a tight end premium, raise it up to 2 first value.
Yeah.
At minimum, depending on what the premium is and all that.
And maybe even a shot. I might need like a late second or something just to take a shot in the dark on it, just to kind of play back off.
And I'm talking 27 picks, not
26. No, nobody's talking 26 picks at all.
If you're coming at me to get him out of the 26 picks, it better be a first 4 picks.
It better be a 102.
Or 101. And then we can talk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that moves on to my next buy candidate, and that is Rome Odunze. I'm very high on Odunze. I think he is somebody who can absolutely emerge in this offense. He was injured most of last season, so he did not really get a chance to play in that was it Ben Johnson offense, and before he went out. And I think he's very talented. I think he has the mentality of being a true alpha receiver. I think he wants to be Jamar Chase. I think he wants to be Justin Jefferson, and in a good way. Not like I don't necessarily believe that he's somebody who thinks he is and he isn't. I think he's somebody who has a lot of confidence in himself, and he has the ability to go out there and do it. And as long as his quarterback can get him the ball, I know the offense can scheme him the ball. I do know that. And so, based off the fact that last year he was injured most of the season, based off the fact that a lot of people think Loveland is going to be the top receiver in this offense, based off the fact that some people think that Caleb Williams is not a good enough quarterback to support multiple targets within this offense, I think there's an opportunity to buy Odunze at a you're not going to get him for a third. You're going to have to still pay a little to get Odunze. Yeah. He's still a young wide receiver.
Well, but the potential one there. Look, Burden hasn't come over and taken the job yet. So, I mean, people still have a value number on Odunze. So, I was big on Odunze last year. That's why I stacked him and Caleb Williams in all my freaking almost everywhere I drafted and redrafted and everything last year. And it benefited me some weeks. It hurt me others. But, I mean, luckily I grabbed Loveland as well. So one of them was going to work out.
I mean, he's only in 2 years, like last season, he only played 12 games. The year before, he played 17 his rookie year. He has not had a true breakout as of yet, obviously. And so, but if you go look at the game log and what he was doing last year before he got hurt, he was set to have the breakout that we were all hoping for. He finished as wide receiver 19, 4, 20, and 17. And then he had 2 bad games. And then he was the wide receiver 8. And then he had I'm not sure what happened week 9 against Cincinnati. He played 100% of the snaps. So he had a bad game. And then he was wide receiver 8. And then he had some down games. And then he was out the rest of the season. So, I think his third year, which used to be the year that we expected wide receivers to break out,
just show up.
This is the year that I think we're going to get the Odunze that we all thought we were getting early, and that he's going to show up, and then he's going to become the alpha of that team.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I like I said, I was a big fan of Odunze last year coming into the year, and it played out good for a few weeks, and then you had some bad weeks. But I mean, what do you expect from a second year player? Like you said, we always used to count for that third year, and now we're all like, it's
if they don't have it in the beginning, the guy sucks.
All of a sudden he sucks. Yeah. Everybody's dropping and moving away. But yeah, no, I like that. I think you can get Odunze for a song, especially. There's a lot of people out there that are higher on Burden than they are on Odunze.
Yes,
and
which also helps the value.
That's beneficial to you if you're going after Odunze, because you can spend less and potentially get the same end. I was going to say income, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Same outcome. There you go. The opposite of that. You can potentially spend less to get Odunze, and they could finish at the end of the year very similar to one another. Yeah. If that makes sense. So, and then you don't have to spend as much, and it's always beneficial in a dynasty to spend less and get more.
Exactly. All right. By the way, Odunze is going 55 overall in dynasty startups currently. The next
Burden's
one
going right ahead of him.
Yeah.
And 54.
My next one, we're going to go back to sell. This is actually my sell of sells. This is one I think you need to sell.
Sell of all sells?
Yeah, get this dude sold and get as much as you can.
Sell.
I don't want anything to do with him. And his name is Alec Pierce. He just got paid. He broke out somewhat last year. And, you know, I don't mind Alec Pierce as a receiver. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, I don't have anything wrong with him personally. He's 26 years old. He'll, you know, he just turned 26. So, you know, he'll play the whole season at 26, but, his history is wide receiver 63, 73, 43, 28. And he is last year he had 84 targets. He only caught 47 of those targets. Okay. For 1,003 yards and 6 touchdowns. That was his best season. The year before he had 800 and something yards. But the problem that I have with Alec Pierce is there are people who perceive him as an alpha receiver because he is now the highest paid top receiver on the Colts. He is going off as wide receiver 37, somewhere around 37, 40 in dynasty startups. So it's not like he's going super high, but I think you can move this guy to a wide receiver needy team. You can get a first out of them. If you can get even, I would say a 1-0, anything from Concepcion back in this year's draft, you can get that in the deal and do it. And if you can get next year's first, even better, and get rid of Alec Pierce. I don't think he's going to be what he is being paid to be. And so you're going to have sporadic weeks. He's a down the field guy. He doesn't live off of volume. He lives off of big plays. And those guys are always a nightmare to roster because you know at any week they can put up 30, but they can also put up 3. And it's just a frustrating thing. Amon-Ra, you put him in the roster, you know, hey, I'm going to get 12 on a bad week. I'm going to get 12. I'm going to average between 15 and 18, and then occasionally I'm going to get up in the 20s. But you're never going to be like, oh, my God, I shouldn't have started Amon-Ra this week. There's going to be plenty of weeks where you're going to be like, God, I shouldn't. Why the fuck I didn't start Tez Johnson? Because he scored more than frickin', you know, Alec Pierce. And so I don't know why Tez Johnson was the first name that came to mind, but it was
a good name. It's a good name. It's definitely a good call. That's,
you know, I don't have a lot of faith in what Alec Pierce is going to be able to do as the quote alpha receiver now for the Colts. So that Pittman's gone and they've paid him and all that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have going to scheme him to be a 140 target guy, and he's going to go out there and light the world on fire. If they figure that out, it's going to be amazing.
It's crazy to me. This is like, I love Alec Pierce when you can get him in the 8th round of a redraft, or you could pick him up in the 9th, 10th round, and you could plug him in on an injury week, and you're like, oh shit, he got 2 touchdowns this week at 85 yards out of nowhere for no reason, you know, like,
right.
But now, like you said, they're paying this guy to be the one. Everybody in their right mind, realistically, takes what the receivers get paid and what they are going to be forced to do per the money they're spent into the, now I have to get him because he's going to be viable.
Yeah.
But let's just flash back to not even that long ago. Let's look at Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
You know, this guy had a massive year, and then
he got paid
on the coattails of Matthew Stafford, by the way, and he got paid, went to another team, and vanished.
Yeah.
Off the face of the earth.
Straight dirty ass.
So it's like this is a perfect example.
Refried ass meat.
If you had Alec Pierce on like a dynasty team you took over, or you drafted him and like you got him off waivers year 2 of your league or something, this is
awesome.
This is how you build your team.
Yes.
People like this are what pushes you up and over everybody else, because you put him on the trade block in a league, and somebody who's like competing next year is like, I need some wide receiver depth.
This is a guy, by the way, I put on the trade block.
I just put him on right now. You'll see it when we get off here. But like, it's a guy that like you can potentially get a late first. You might even be able to talk somebody to a mid first for next year, because they need somebody.
I'd take
on
a 27 second for him right now.
Oh,
in a heartbeat.
And that's
I would shoot for the
premium.
first, and I would take the second,
because you didn't spend anything to get him.
Exactly.
No matter,
most people who have him right now, who had him before last year, didn't spend jack shit for him.
It's like, this is a guy that last year on your bench, this guy was putting up 20, 30 point weeks, and you're like, holy shit, that was an accident. Nobody saw this coming, you know. So those are the players that I like. You know, I end up with them a lot of places. I pick them up off waivers, or I see a couple games, but he's sized to be similar to like Mike Evans, you know, to be that 50-50 guy, but he's never been that 50-50 guy. He's always been downfield.
Is he that big?
He's 6'3", 212 or 215.
Wow.
Like
yeah, 6'3",
211.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's this burner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just a down the field guy, and that's why he gets 80 targets, but only catches 40 or 50.
And based off of his complexion, he should just be the scrappy guy who gets 140 targets over the middle of the field and plays for the Patriots.
He should be 5'10", 190 pounds. Yeah, exactly.
And play for the Patriots, but he's not. He's a burner down the field who catches 40 balls a year for 1,000 yards, and you never know when you're going to get him.
And this is exactly why this is the type of receivers, the type of players in fantasy that I love the most. Because, like I said, you didn't spend anything to get this guy, and you could potentially get big value out of him. So he is 100% a sell.
Yeah.
No matter where you're at, where you got him, unless you're absolutely like your team is rock solid and he's there as a flex option or something. But don't go buy him for that unless you're not listening to us and you just go, these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Because even if he does have a great year, even if he has a great year next year, I don't see this lasting more than 2 years.
I don't either. It's not sustainable. There's nothing about him that says he's going to be great for the next 5 years.
Exactly.
And if you look at this, so last year, just give you an idea what I'm talking about. He was starting in week 6. So this is his weekly ranking: 46, 22, 43, 15, 14, wide receiver 68. Wide receiver 14, wide receiver 21, wide receiver 89, wide receiver 5, wide receiver not even ranked, and he played 91% of the snaps. And then he was the number 1 wide receiver the final game of the season. And so it's like you just don't know when he's going to go off and when he's going to kill your week.
I will say, so you started at week 6. So what was his numbers week 14 and out?
Wide receiver 21, wide receiver 89, wide receiver 5, and then he scored 0 fantasy points despite playing 91% of the snaps in week 17.
Okay, so week 14 was the week that Daniel Jones tore his Achilles.
Yeah,
or ACL, whatever.
It was very similar. I mean, he had his last week. He had 4 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he scored 35 fantasy points. Well, in this league's scoring is crazy. But he was the number 1 receiver that week in this league. So
I'm just looking at it's almost like Daniel Jones unlocked Alec Pierce a few weeks, like for some weird reason. I don't know how or why, but that's another player that's like. They complement each other, but
even that, it's like if you go look at his targets, that's not how you spell his name. ALEC.
Yeah.
If you go even with Daniel Jones in there, you look at his target share, it still wasn't great. It was 3, 5, 5, 4.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And then he had 10, 5, 13, 7, and then missed a week, and then 2, 5. Those are all with Daniel Jones. So he only had 2 weeks where he had double-digit targets. The rest of them, if he hit 7 one week and the rest he was 5 or under, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, and now Pittman's gone, so that's going to be a little bit.
It should increase, but Josh Downs, I think Josh Downs, which will move back to the buy category, since we talked about selling Alec Pierce, we're talking about the same thing. Josh Downs to me is a buy because he is that receiver. He is the target guy. That's what he's going to do. That's what he specializes in. And so, I think he's going to be the guy who explodes the most for PPR fantasy when it comes with the absence of Michael Pittman. You can get Josh Downs now, but especially if you can find somebody who thinks Alec Pierce is going to be the dude, and you can get somebody who's going to potentially get 140 targets next year.
Oh yeah,
if you go look at his history, what he's done since he's been in the league. I mean, he's had 98, 107, and 88 targets, and that was playing with Pittman and Pierce. Now he's just got to play with Pierce, and Pierce, we have established, is not a target hog.
Yeah, he's not going to be. I mean, Warren had an okay.
Yeah, I mean, Warren's definitely going to command targets for sure.
He's going to get some targets and stuff too, but I don't think what Warren is going to take is going to overcompensate Pittman. So those targets have to go somewhere.
Yes.
And while they're paying Alec Pierce, it's still going to be the open guy. And I think Downs is going to get open before Pierce does, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think Pierce is going to be, Downs is going to be the guy you're going to depend on to move the sticks.
Yeah.
The guy you're going to depend on to get that possession. Pierce is still going to be your downfield guy. He's going to be your downfield burner is what I project. And I'm sure there'll be another receiver that's going to emerge in this offense. They're not going to just run 2 wide receivers. There'll be a third receiver that comes out and emerges, but thus far, it's not a name of any consequence. They didn't draft anybody super high to come in, so we're expecting that they're going to ride with these two, and then Warren will be part of the mix as well. And Warren could be your number one target hog on this offense as well, but I don't think it's going to be so substantial that Downs is not going to get. I mean, if he gets 120 targets, and they're better quality targets because he's now more of a primary, guy, then it's only going to inflate his fantasy value.
Well, plus, so Pierce just had some knee work done or something. Isn't there still question about whether he starts the season? Or
I have not heard that.
See, I think he has some sort of knee surgery or something that puts him in question for at least making the preseason games and all that stuff. But let me go look into that because I'm curious.
Well,
he had off-season ankle surgery. And he says he's expected to be ready for the start. But
so he might miss some of training camp.
He might
and stuff
miss
like
some
that.
training camp and all that
which
stuff.
will definitely hurt as well.
So I mean, if you can get Downs for a song, like you can get Downs cheap, definitely buy the shit out of him.
I would trade Pierce straight up for Downs, to be honest with you. That's how much of a believer I am. But I think you can get more than Downs for Pierce.
You definitely can.
You can get Downs in a second, or even if I can get Downs in a third. I mean, I would do it straight up, obviously, but I think you can get Downs in a third, a 27th third.
Yeah, I mean,
at minimum.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all either. I mean.
Well, I'm going to run through these next ones real quick so we can shut it down. The last 2 sells I have on the list are James Cook and Tucker Kraft. I love James Cook. He's a absolute monster when it comes to touchdowns. I just don't know if it's sustainable what he's been able to do the last 2 years. I think he's going to regress. So if you can move him now before the season starts, I don't think he's somebody you have to move. That's why he's down the list. And really, James Cook probably more so than anybody else. Probably Loveland too that I've brought up. You're moving at peak value, or you're just fucking holding on to him. Yeah. But I think that you can get in a running back desperate team, you can get a pretty good value for James Cook. And then Tucker Kraft, I like Tucker Kraft with the Packers. He was balling out before he got hurt last season. If you can find somebody who still remembers that and feels good about it, I think you can move Tucker Kraft and get you a pretty decent tight end on top of that. Tucker Kraft just seems to me like a guy that's just going to disappear in a year or two.
A lot of I don't know, it's like Dallas and Green Bay both have this thing where year after year, it's like a tight end shows up, dominates for a little bit, becomes a household name, and then disappears. if that makes sense. I mean, like with Dallas for a couple years, it was like not Dalton Schultz, but the one before. Like, well, Schultz was a value for the year before he went to Houston, and like.
And now you got Ferguson. I mean, they did have. Oh my God, he went on to become a terrible freaking color coordinator for Fox after he retired, but he was there for years.
Jason Witten.
Yeah. Witten was pretty solid for.
I'm just thinking like the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. It seems like those two teams have like there was a rising tight end for a year, and then they kind of fall off.
Yeah.
Schoonmaker was.
Well, he hasn't done nothing. He was projected to be, but he hasn't really done anything because Ferguson's been able to hold it down pretty good for the last couple seasons. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, when Aaron
always that middle
of the
road.
There was the other guy that showed
Not
up.
Aaron
Rodgers.
When
Aaron Rodgers was Green Bay.
There
was the older tight end that showed up for one season, and then we thought he was going to be big.
And he went to Chicago.
Yes. But it just seems like that's.
Well, we have to remember the name though.
But do we though?
It starts with a T, and he went to Chicago, and my brain says tungsten, but I know it's not tungsten.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
It's not tungsten. It's not. I don't even know if that's close, but that's where my brain keeps going. Tungsten or Tolson, and neither one of those are right. I know those aren't right, but I feel like it's in the ballpark.
God, now I'm gonna lose my mind because I can't. I know it was but the
we have to figure it out. He might still be on the Bears roster.
He's not. I just look.
Let's see. At some point, my brain and names is going to derail the show.
It's me, Tanyan.
Robert Tanyan. I was in the ballpark.
You were, but I had to figure it out.
And I knew I was wrong, but I kept saying my favorite part of when that happens is one of probably a handful of our 10 or 11 or 15 people who listen to this podcast are all screaming at their radio
trying to yell the name out who it was. And
despite the fact that whenever they listen to this, it's already been done.
I know when I listen to the podcast, I'm yelling at the thing.
That's why you quit listening to it.
That's why I had to. I couldn't do it. It was so much stress on my body.
What was his name again?
Robert Tanyan.
Yeah. There was a period of time where Tanyan was like the greatest tight end in the NFL.
It was like, and that's what I'm saying. It's like for the last, I'm just gonna say within the last 5 years, it seems like Dallas and Green Bay both have this love-hate relationship with who's going to be the best tight end.
I would say Steelers more so. Steelers and Green Bay. The Steelers, I have a tight end show up for 5 minutes, and then it'll be another. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers.
It might be just following Aaron Rodgers around.
Jordan Love shouldn't have taken that from Aaron Rodgers because I feel like Ferguson's been pretty solid when he's been healthy for the last 2 or 3 years. And then before that, it was Dalton Schultz for a couple of years. But outside of Schultz and Ferguson, I can't think of another before Witten tight end that came out of Dallas. But I can probably give you 7 tight ends out of Green Bay in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Every one of them have been a tight end one at some point in time. Yeah.
Don't get me started on Denver and the tight end situation when it comes to butthole lips.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
but I don't know. I like Tucker Kraft. I think he's a good player, but two, he is injury prone. So that's one thing that both years where he was like, oh my God, this dude's going to be awesome, and then boom, he's hurt. Mm-hmm. Luke Musgrave has not been able to step up and meet that. So I know that it is because Tucker Kraft is an elite athlete that he's able to do these things. It isn't just a system thing. But I don't think it's sustainable. Like I said, I think Tucker Kraft will be a guy in a couple of years. We'll be sitting here trying to remember him. Like, hey, who was that tight end with Green Bay that got hurt all the time, but he also was balled out when he was healthy?
He had good weeks, but it just wasn't.
And so if you can move him, so some buys. So the last buys I have is and some of these are contingent on whether you're. First of all the buys for the most part are contingent on you trying to compete. Especially if it's older players. If it's older players, Dak Prescott is a buy in Dynasty for me if I'm on a team, a super flex team that's trying to compete. Dak Prescott, if he plays the whole season, all he does is finish as a QB1. That's all he does.
Yep.
Now, if he gets hurt, obviously that doesn't pan out. But if he plays the most of the season, QB1, boom, that's it. And he is very good for any of his for his receivers as well. So Kyron Williams, right now he is a buy for me because I think a lot of people are scared of Blake Corum, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But all Kyron Williams does is score touchdowns, and he is loved by his team. If you have Kyron, I wouldn't sell him. And if you can go out and get him on the cheap, I would buy the shit out of Kyron Williams right now and try to sell them that Blake Corum is taking his job. That's why I'm only offering you a second, bro. Blake Corum's probably going to take his job. I'm just taking a shot because I need running back depth.
I mean, in college, wasn't that all that Blake Corum did was just score touchdowns?
That might be true too. And maybe Blake Corum does take his job. But I
not saying it will. I just feel like he was super high on the on the touchdown scale.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming out of college and everything.
Christian Watson right now is the buy, one of the biggest buys for me. If you can find somebody who doesn't realize what's going on with Green Bay right now in their wide receiver room. Dontavian Wicks is out. Romeo Dobbs is out. Right now, it's Christian Watson. It's Jaden Reed, and it's I don't know who the fuck. What's his name that blew ass last year?
Matthew Golden.
Yeah. And so we saw what Watson did when he came back last year. He was the best wide receiver in that room. He helped me win a fantasy championship in a 32-man gauntlet league.
Yeah.
I was able to get Watson, and that dude for many weeks carried my team. So I think Christian Watson is a big buy. If you can get him, he could potentially be the number one receiver if he stays healthy coming out of that Green Bay offense. And Jonathan Brooks. A lot of people forgot about Jonathan Brooks. The Panthers aren't sold on Chuba. Chuba's efficiency is not very good. He does a lot based off of volume. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I think Chuba is okay this year if you have him. Jonathan Brooks was the number 2 running back. Some thought number 1 running back coming out of his class, but he has had injuries with his knee. He's missed 2 seasons in the NFL. If he can get on the field and he can get back to anything that he was coming out of college, this dude's going to be good, and he's going to be better than Chuba. And you can get him for almost nothing right now. Hell, if
as a throw-in on some of these,
and some of your shallow leagues, dynasty leagues, he might be on waivers.
Yeah.
If you can get him as a throw-in on a deal, or you can just throw somebody a third or a fourth and be like, hey, I'm just trying to get running back depth.
I'm trying to clear you some roster space. I noticed you got 4 picks in this upcoming draft. Why don't you give me him and you take my 3rd round pick or something?
Yeah, I'll throw you my 4th for next year, bro.
And we'll clear you a little roster space.
So that was the last few buys I have. And then my last 2 holds, I'll say, is Kyler Murray and Malik Willis. Not because I think they're going to be great. I do like Malik. The jury's still out on Kyler, but because right now you don't know what the fuck they are going to be.
Yep.
And in Dynasty, you deal either one of them unless you have somebody who's high. Like I'm high on Malik. I will pay up for him right now if I have to in leagues. But most people like Baker who want to see it before they want to. Let me see it before I buy him, because to be honest with you, he has played good in the starts that he has, but it's a very few handful, and he hasn't been like amazing. He's been good. And so, Malik, it's a fair evaluation. So therefore, I think Kyler Murray and Malik are both holds. And if you want to deal them, wait for the season to start, wait for them to light up the scoreboard, and then get them the fuck off your roster.
Exactly.
So there it is with that. Anything else you want to add on the pile before we shut this thing on down?
The only thing is, just because you called it a pile, I want to put Kenneth Walker out there as a sell now. Look, he ended up, it's a perfect location. It's a perfect storm for Kenneth Walker, in my opinion, for value, for fantasy value. I think right now there's people out there that are willing to pay 2 firsts for Kenneth Walker.
I agree.
And
I wouldn't, but I agree.
There's no way he's ever going to be worth that, in my opinion. He's a good running back. He showed that he can be a decent running back, but Seattle's O-line is phenomenal. And I don't know that the Chiefs O-line is
phenomenal.
That good. Exactly.
I can't believe I did a Jim Rome impersonation. I haven't even thought about Jim Rome in years.
I'm sorry I brought that out.
No, that's fine. I can't. I don't. It's like it came from like the deepest recesses of my mind when you said phenomenal. I thought of Jim Rome for some fucking reason.
I just me personally, like I don't have Kenneth Walker anywhere, but I feel like anybody who does, this is the peak value he's ever going to have. Anytime somebody goes to the Chiefs, it seems like they gain a first in value for some reason. And
it's
a lot
the
of times
idea of the offense. But if you think about this,
running back wise,
when was the last time they had a great running back put up? Kareem Hunt before he got in trouble?
The same one they've been riding for 5 years, Kareem Hunt. Yeah, I mean, and it's so tough to put a lot of faith in a running back in that offense. And even though Walker just come from this, I don't feel comfortable. I feel like if anybody came to me and said, "Hey, look,
he's the Alec Pierce of running backs,"
exactly. Right now, he's being paid. He's on a high offense, high octane offense.
Yeah,
and I just don't. We don't know what Patrick Mahomes is going to come back from this injury. I still think I don't know how serious it was. If that makes sense. Like he left. Of course, you want to protect him and make sure he heals and all. But sometimes it's little shit that kind of lingers. Yeah. So it may become give it to Kenneth Walker, give it to Kenneth Walker, give it to Kenneth Walker, and he gets stuff on the line.
Where's he at ADP? Because I'm interested to know.
It's probably like 12. I don't know.
Yeah, like overall, I'm going to say he's about high. 18.
But I figure it's pretty high.
Let's see.
Oh shit!
Maybe he is. Maybe I didn't go high enough. Kenneth Walker.
They still got him down.
Yeah. Wow.
Shit, we had to have missed him. Oh, there he is, 47. That's
47th over. I mean, that's top 50 in total.
Yeah.
He's going off as running back. He's going off as a top 10 running back.
Though. Yeah, running back 10.
Running back 9, I think.
9. Oh yeah.
It's hard to see with them putting the thing to block the paywall, making me go to the paywall.
But I don't really honestly I don't see it. Like I think there's a lot of hype around the fact he's on the Chiefs and he just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, there's
if I knew for a fact going into this season, if they came out tomorrow and they're like, if I'm wrong, you can take all my money. We're going to give Kenneth Walker, if he's healthy, the ball 25 times a game. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm 100% in. I don't care how.
They tell me 18 times a game. I think I'll be in just because. Yeah. I mean,
no. I my thing is, I don't think he's going to be involved in the passing game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, I need 25 carries. I need, just to feel good about that.
Yeah.
And I think if I knew they were going to do that, but to me, it's just that's not how they play their game.
Yeah. Mahomes has got to be healthy. Rashid's probably going to miss some weeks. I mean, that's a threat that kind of pulls the offense or pulls the defense up.
Yeah, but it's also a threat that's going to force them to run the ball more and all that. So I get it's all that. Yeah, but they're other people are going to be utilizing that offense. And the thing is, Kenneth Walker has an injury history. Number one. Number two. There's and what is this? Is this he's going into his 4th year, correct? So he's played 3.
That sounds.
So
correct.
In 3 years, he only has a small window of a handful of times where he has been great. Now his run last year to get to the Super Bowl and then be the Super Bowl MVP, and that was great. He showed that when you get him involved and you give him the ball, he's awesome. But I'd be interested to know, on that run, how many times were they giving him the ball? What was his usage? Because I know Sam Darnold fell off towards the end of last season. Their offense went more towards a running game. And also Charbonnet was hurt, so they had to lean on Walker. And so they were just feeding him the ball, and he carried them. He was part of what carried them to a Super Bowl along with that defense.
So he averaged, I'm going to say, 10 carries a game.
10?
That's his average. That's a rough average.
Okay.
He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 6 weeks total for the season where he had more than 10 carries.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what about from week 15 on?
Week 15, he had 9 carries for 17 yards against Indianapolis.
Jesus.
Week 16, he had 11 carries for 100 yards, which was way better.
Go to the playoffs.
No, the playoffs is when he did good.
Okay.
Playoffs, he 19, 19, 27. That's how many carries he had.
That's what I'm
just
thinking
the
about
playoff weeks. Yeah. So against San Francisco, the Rams, and New England. So I'll look at this.
And then the Super Bowl. I think he had a ton of carries in that game too.
But I mean, so even against the Rams, he had 19 attempts for 62 yards. He only averaged 3 yards a carry.
How many targets did he have total last year?
Target total.
I'm going to guess that he had 44 targets.
36.
Yeah, so I was
31 receptions for 282.
If you're
no touchdowns.
Yeah, no touchdowns. It's like you're talking about a guy that you're lucky to get 40 targets to.
Yeah, I mean it's
it's not like, to me, Kansas City doesn't have a history of feeding their running backs targets.
Yeah.
They manufacture receptions for their tight end, Travis Kelce. And, they run these gimmicky things. You think about back when they had Mecole Hardman and all these other guys, they would manufacture what you would consider kind of plays that you would want to give your running back. They would give them to these fast outside wide receivers. Kadarius! They tried to do it with Kadarius, and then they also use Rashee Rice in a very gimmicky role when he's there at times too.
Well, here's some food for thought too. Charbonnet did not get injured until the first playoff game.
Okay, well then that was why the carries were low, and then once he got injured, that's okay. That all makes sense. For some reason in my mind, I thought Charbonnet only played like 10 games last season.
Charbonnet averaged 15 carries per game.
Okay, all right.
The last 2 weeks against Carolina, San Francisco, he had 18 and 17.
Okay,
averaged over 6 yards a carry both games.
All right. Well, that's why it was surprising me when you went to week 15 and it was still low.
It was still really low
because my brain was like, no, Charbonnet wasn't there. How the hell? But
Sharp was their guy with Walker there the whole time. It was crazy.
Which is why they let Walker go.
Exactly, and Charbonnet's going into his 4th year.
Yeah,
Walker's going into his 4th year.
Yeah,
I don't know what the Walker's going to his 5th year. Excuse me.
Okay,
so he's got 4 years.
So even still, that's even worse overall. So I'm 100% on. So he's the Alec Pierce of running backs.
So my thing is like I don't. This is the time right now. If you ever were going to get any kind of value out of Kenneth Walker, right now sell him.
Because
he is the guy.
Sell hard
and get the most. You'll be able to get the most out of him right now than you'd ever be able to get out of him.
Yeah, because I don't think it's. Maybe before the season starts, you might want to see if you can wait for some camp height. Like, oh my God, they're using Kenneth Walker in the pass game, they have designed plays for Kenneth Walker in the pass game.
Yeah,
and that's when you start. Hey, you're like, dude, you look at that. He's going to get 60 catches this year, and you can sell him for. I'm
not saying he's not
anything.
He's not going to finish top 15, but. That's where I think he's going to end up being, is top 15, like 15, 16, 14.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In redrafts, he's probably going to be a top 10 draft.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. That people are going to be grabbing this guy up super early, which is great because they're leaving better players for you to get later. But
I think if he finishes at wide receiver, if he finishes wide receiver, it'd be even crazier.
Yeah, I know,
if he finishes at running back 24 this year, it'll be a good season for him.
I would say because he could potentially be the workhorse. As far as like, for that offense, he might end up at like 18 or 19. Yeah. But I see these people are thinking he's going to be like top 7.
If he finishes
running back,
I'm going to tell you right now, and mark my words, if he finishes as a running back 1, he's going to have 13, 14 touchdowns. Minimum.
Yeah, or better. Yeah.
Yeah, or higher, obviously.
And that means that they're going to have to not bring Kareem Hunt out there on the 1 yard line.
Or they're not going to have to
do
throw to Travis Kelce whatever else shit they do.
Yeah. The weird lineman that's going to catch a ball sometime during the game.
So, I'm the same way with Kenneth Walker. I'm like, out on him as well.
Sell that guy. If you can you're going to get the peak right now. Yes. Whatever people are offering you seriously, it's going to be the best you're going to get.
Yes. If you can find a Kenneth Walker lover in your league, deal him away quickly.
You wait till the middle of the season, I think you're going to regret every bit of not trading him. I do.
And we're going to be either really right or really wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, that's and I've been both of those things multiple times.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, there it is. There's the buy, sell, hold of the seasons, dynasty seasons. So
a little early buy, sell, hold.
Yeah. I mean, things will change. I'm sure those things will, as the ADPs shift and we get more news, and obviously, unfortunately, when we get more injuries and things like that, things will always shift. But
there was a defensive end that tore his Achilles today or tore his ACL today in OTAs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
for the Giants too. That was a tough one. It was one of their top guys. He's an older gentleman. He's been there for like 8 years.
I feel like he's an older gentleman. I feel like he wears like a suit coat.
Oh, he wasn't even out there. He was coaching.
Yes. He was quite the older gentleman. Yeah. He was drinking tea on the sidelines. He was like, oh, dear Lord, I think I've hurt my Achilles. Who said that? Us, that older gentleman over there drinking tea, wearing the suit coat. It's like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
How did he hurt his Achilles? I think he was reaching for the crumpets.
He spilt his tea and dropped his cup and went to grab it.
All right. Well, like I say, if there's anything we say or do that helps you get to that average place in your leagues, that means we have done our job. Because as we like to say, Matt, when you finish average,
you don't finish last.
That's 100% right. So I hope you guys have a good one out there. We'll get back next week. Hopefully we can hit it in the early part of the week when Bus can join us. But either way, we'll get one in at some point and try to give you some more average advice. So
yeah.
Anyway, y'all be good out there, and we'll talk to you on the flip side.
Later.
Holla.